obviously not everything brain. It includes feelings. It includes the way you react to things. So if you see age specific, then we know that as you get older, we are going to be facing age related changes. There is transition in life. I mean, there could be transition in personal, transition in professional, transition in people, children going abroad or children going away, transition in maybe, unfortunately, spouse or friends, family dying, and addressing concerns like, of course, cognitive decline and depression. So if you see prevalence, almost 20% of people aged above 60 actually suffer with a mental and neurological disorder, which will affect their daily functioning and, of course, quality of life. Now, then, of course, there is statistical variations which will be there by region, maybe due to cultural, socioeconomic, and, of course, healthcare differences. Now, what is the importance of mental health in elderly? Physical health correlation. So, we cannot always say that mental health is only mental health. It's not. So, if you have a good mental health, then it is closely related to the fact that you'll have good physical health outcomes. You'll have maybe less pain. You'll have improved mobility. Now, social and emotional impacts. If your mental health is good, then your relationships are good. Social engagement will be good. Overall emotional stability will be great. And quality of life. Of course, addressing mental health in older adults is crucial because it will help in enhancing their quality of life so that their latter years are obviously there with dignity and satisfaction. So, what are the common things which are faced by older adults? One is, of course, depression. So, symptoms and diagnosis, recognizing the symptoms like chronic sadness or lack of pleasure in activities can help obviously diagnose depression. Now, proper assessment by a healthcare professional is, of course, crucial for a accurate diagnosis. Then, treatment options, yes, there is medication, there is therapy, there is lifestyle changes. But managing depression often obviously involves the combination of these approaches, which are obviously tailored to an individual's needs. So it's all individualistic as far as management is concerned. But we all know, unfortunately, there is a distinct social stigma surrounding mental health, which usually even forces, regarding depression also, it forces the older adults not to even seek help, and educating communities obviously can help in reducing. So education and sensitization, I think, is very crucial. Then anxiety disorders, there is of course common types like panic disorder, anxiety disorder, specific phobias. So we have to obviously identify the type and give treatment. Then coping mechanisms, I think coping mechanisms are different for different people. So some people can be mentally strong. Now what do you mean by mentally strong? Mentally strong doesn't mean nothing affects them. Mentally strong means they're able to tackle situations better. They're able to have a maybe get to a stable mind earlier as compared to maybe somebody who has anxiety. So things like mindfulness, wherein you obviously think what is good in life, relaxation exercises, cognitive behavioral therapy, in which a psychologist will obviously be involved, helps in managing the anxiety symptoms. But support from family and friends is obviously also very beneficial. And dementia and Alzheimer's disease, yes, early detection is there. Early detection involves mild cognitive impairment and undergoing tests. Early diagnosis can help. I am not going into the details of dementia purely because I'm going to take it separately. It's an entirely different topic. The long-term care options are there in this time wherein people don't have to necessarily have only in-home care. It could be assisted living as well. It could be nursing homes also, and each option should be evaluated for a person. I think in the management of dementia, one of the most important things is caregivers because they obviously play a crucial role in the lives of those with dementia and Alzheimer's. And providing support and resources to caregivers is highly important. Then what about the contributing factors to mental health issues? Now, there are socioeconomic factors, poverty and financial stress. It could be economic hardship could lead to chronic stress, anxiety, depression, significantly affect individuals' mental health. The constant worries about finances. Lack of social security, which enhances feelings of insecurity, hopelessness, also uh, leads to mental health issues, support in the time of need. Then physical health conditions, illnesses. If you have chronic illnesses which are there for long term, then there will be increased stress, there will be fatigue, emotional stress, mental stress. Then nutrition and physical activities. If you are not physical exercise, not only affects your physical, it will also affect mental health. Disability and mobility issues. I think physical limitations are always an issue. As I talked last, immobility, mental aspect, and not only a physical aspect. So feelings of can impact mental well-being. What about psychological factors? See, as one gets older, so experience the death of loved one is very, very difficult. It leads to prolonged emotional pain and sometimes long-term mental issues like depression. So if it is there for a small while, yes, it can be taken as bereavement. But if it is there for a long time, then definitely the older person might be suffering from depression. Then social isolation. What about loneliness and lack of meaningful social interactions? These can obviously contribute to feelings of emptiness and increase the risk of mental health problems such as depression and anxiety. Then identity and purpose. Now, struggling with self identity and finding one's purpose, I think, is very important because if there is a feelings of inadequacy, significantly it will affect mental health. Current mental health services. See, there is a huge urban to rural disparity. Mental health services might be there in urban areas, rural, there might not even be talk because there is hardly difficulty in traveling. But even in rural, urban areas, if there is facilities, how many people are using them is a question. Then access to mental health professionals, there is limited access, impacting the quality and timeliness of mental health care. So, more the people who are there, the better it is. Then government policies are there. There's a national mental health program, but again, it helps in increasing awareness, increasing policy initiatives are there, infrastructure development might be there, but again, not enough because there's too much stigma. Then Senior Citizens Act, yes, it has provisions to safeguard the mental health of the elderly by ensuring access to healthcare services. Then non-profit and community initiatives. I think this is very important. Community support groups help, I think, peer support and safe space for individuals to share experiences, then promote mental wellness and reduce the feelings of isolation. Then awareness campaigns. I think awareness campaigns play a crucial role in educating the public about mental health issues, reducing stigma, and encouraging people to seek help. Now, it's not that some celebrity will just say that no, I had a mental health issue. That's called awareness. But if people with mental health, especially older people, are able to acknowledge the fact that no, I have been strong the entire life, but I can be weak as well, actually helps in other people to even come up, and that is very, very important. I feel because a lot of times one can say mental health disorders in older adults can even lead to the thought of suicide, and it's easier for an older adult to even try to commit because there is access, there are diseases, there is access to even tablets. I'm not saying that it's usually that they are actually not very, very confident of doing it, but I think that is something which should be very careful about. So the red flags are very important. So what are the future directions? Of course, I think community education is very people to know about it. So reduce stigma, reduce effect, offering the resource and support, and media and public awareness is very feel. Encourage open conversations by older adults on mental health. Then improve access. Don't just say that though there are facilities, the older person will have to take it up. No. Telemedicine, online counseling is very important, it's convenient and accessible. Only thing we have to take care is, of course, the privacy. I think privacy is very important from both sides, as well as for the person seeking mental health help. Policy changes, yes, we have to strengthen the mental health. I think policies educating for the creation and implementation of robust mental health. Continuous research and data is very important. The more we do research, the more we'll be able to obviously have strategies. Then collaborations, I think, with NGOs and community leaders. So, for example, even if there is a satsang group leader can actually bring in people together so that social togetherness can actually happen. Then resources should be enhanced. Then even support networks should be enhanced. So thank you. This, of course, was in brief about mental health. I was trying to take an overview here. I mean, Sangeeta ji, if you have any questions, if you have any queries, if you have something to even share by personal experience, I mean, we are almost on one-on-one basis today, so we can obviously sort of discuss. Yeah.
How do you encourage the person who is always feeling depressed?
So I think, ma'am, one is of course a
Small
person
things.
having. Yeah, yeah.
For
Tell,
small things, they
please complete.
for small things, suddenly they burst into tears. So how do you tackle such people? I mean, they are
So I think,
very.
ma'am, if they obviously have significant depression, they will need help. I mean, there is no way of just saying that no, they are actually depressed. They actually start crying for small things. There is actually a depressive disorder which would be there, and there could be a cause for it. So they will need counseling and medications, both, I feel, because the way to tackle it, of course, is to encourage them. But even if encouragement doesn't help, when positivity doesn't help, then of course they need help, or they might be actually crying out for help, and that is the only way for them to cry. There is nothing known as emotional or fragility, I feel, because it's good to cry. But a lot of times I feel we tend to forget why the person has been crying. So even if it is a small thing. So for example, if the government issues a policy and that is not workable, then general, of course, that becomes very much general getting down about it, but people come out of it. But if a person has been really low and continuously crying in every small thing, then I think that person needs to be, we need to look in whether how bad the depression is, because I think it's very important to nip it in the bud rather than thinking they will improve without help.
You mean try to know why it happens and then work on it? You want to say that?
Yeah, yeah, and I think they will need professional help. It's not that we can expect a caregiver or a relative to do it, because professionally, whether it's, I mean, even I look at mental health disorders, if it's a geriatrician, or if it's a psychiatrist, or if it's a psychologist, because we need to diagnose them. Maybe there is nothing, maybe it's a small thing which has added up for so many years, and then there is extreme depression, but we need to know about it rather than thinking that we only need to treat the symptom, which is not always easy.
Hmm. Okay.
And of course, I mean, since you're obviously there, I'll just quickly tell you that one has to preserve mental health. So keep refreshing yourself, whether it's keeping yourself busy by or your hobbies, or having a good social life, or watching TV, or maybe you love cooking, or you talking to your relatives. One has to keep working on them. I mean, exercise is good, diet is good, but one should have a good social life. Try to keep yourself busy, because that gives you a refreshing thing as far as mental health is concerned, rather than sometimes I mean, life can become very monotonous, and that itself can lead up people to actually having a bit of depression, and then I mean low mood, and that can actually escalate into depression. So I mean, just Sangeeta ma'am, do you have any other questions?
No.
Okay. Another thing, I think it's good to actually have a good sense of humor, not to take life very seriously always. And people whom are there with you, they should also be giving positivity. I mean, if you are around people who are always negative, then it becomes difficult as well, because it tends, you are trying to manage their negativity, but at the same time you're trying.
Okay, connectivity. Mm. Connectivity issues.